Casey just spilled his beer. Hi, welcome to In Good Company with Mitch Morse, where there's good stories and great company. I'm your host, Mitch Morse. I'm joined by Casey Hahey, who's got a saturated lap due to a Labatt being poured on it. What a great opportunity to thank our sponsor over at Labatt for providing delicious beverages. They're so kind, and sometimes they end up on your lap. Doesn't matter. Go give them a try. They're fantastic. Case, we have one of my favorite people coming on the show. You got to know him a little bit. Tell me about your experience with this man.
Well, first of all, what a tragedy that I spilled a Labatt on my lap. I guess you got to pour one out for your homies. But Aaron Kromer, absolute legend, recently retired Buffalo Bills offensive line coach, was a coach for 35 years. I know Mitch can definitely speak volumes on this man. I only met him recently when we were up in Buffalo. Shout out to all the Buffalo people that were so kind and courteous to us when we were up there on that trip. But I got a chance to sit down with him and Mitch at Bar Bill. We had some libations, had some phenomenal wings, and it was just awesome to shoot the shit with him. To be honest, like, he was just a down to earth, just genuine, awesome dude with, I mean, the stories, Mitch. I mean, this guy was, before dial-up. you had to look him up in the yellow pages. But he's got stories of all the places he's been and just an incredible offensive line coach. And just what a conversation we had with him. And I know Mitch was super excited because Mitch loves him, one of his favorite coaches. And I've gotten to really appreciate him as a person over the last last year since I met him. And this was fun. This was really good. It's always good to see Mitch light up in an interview with somebody that we're talking to, because that means that they really mean truthful and near and dear to their heart.
Dude, without a doubt. I think what you said was like the impact this man makes on everyone he walks into contact with. He's got a gift, not only as a coach, but as a person. We dive into retirement after 35 years. We run into, we have one of the greatest Mitch's mailboxes we've ever had. The folks came out of the woodworks and support and with the questions. You were absolutely right. It was on fire interview. He was so candid and kind. And he's one of those guys that constantly fills the proverbial cup up of everyone around him. And we want you guys to have that opportunity to have your cup filled up and not on your lap like Casey. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode of In Good Company with none other than Aaron Kromer.
I'm soiled.
I've got a long list of real good reasons for all the things I've done, and regret is just a memory written on my brow, and there's nothing I can do about it now.
A little pep in his step, a little sun has hit his brow, different. A little baby blue moon in the background looking over, nice crystal water. Probably, I don't know if you got to see the rocket launch, but I got to tell you, 35 years this man did at the highest level. And now he gets to just bear witness and sit back on the fruits of his labor seaside. This man impacted so many folks, coach to many, friends to many more. Please welcome to the show, Aaron Kromer. Dude. Yeah. Thank you for joining us, pal. Hey. How the hell are you?
I am great. I have time to do what I want to do now. I can do whatever I want. I set my own schedule. I mean, life's good.
Can't beat that.
Well, you're retired in Florida. I'd be remiss to ask what kind of drugs you've tried in retirement, or what are we testing out? What's it looking like in that department?
Hey, listen, man, I'm high on life, pal.
Yeah. All right. Well, you're also, there's some mysticism around that. That's a fantastic answer. Is it mostly doing what you want to do, which you makes it sound like, or is it like, marriage is a two-way street. You get to do what you want to do for about 30 minutes, and then you got your daddy do list.
Yeah. I mostly get to do whatever Dawn wants me to do. That's how my life works right now.
Which
And
is
so I call her the new head coach. You know,
Oh.
so she's my new boss, my new head coach. I just make sure that she's happy. I try to make all the meals, try to get everything set just perfectly for her. And then my life's good, just like the rest of my life. I thought at some point I might answer to myself, but I was wrong.
Well, inevitably you might. I think you have 35 years, pal, to make up for being, even the off season, you were still working. I mean, listen, we were kind of giving you grief earlier off this thing. I got to watch Eric Wood's podcast with you. He did a fantastic job. You did a fantastic job. You answered all the tough questions already. So this is going to be it's going to be pandering and having a good time. That being said, one thing you did say was that you do not miss this off season, whether it's self-scouting or getting ready for the draft. My thing that I wanted folks to know about is draft day. All right. It's become this big thing where everyone sees, they dress up, they're high five, and they're just like, fuck yeah, we got our fucking guy. The coaches might be in there or not. What was it predominantly for you in your past on like the day of the draft? What do coaches do?
The first thing I do is I grab an ice pick and I start stabbing myself in the eye, because that's more fun. That's more fun than waiting for the draft to start. The first night doesn't start till the evening, right? So
Yeah, right.
you come in the morning, you have OTA, you have or whatever kind of meetings you're having at that time with the players, and then you meet with the coaches, and then you're like, hey guys, why don't we do this? Let's take a little break. Let's go home for 4 hours and then come back for this. Let's come back an hour before the first round. Okay, we got the 27th pick, right? And we're going to come back an hour before the first pick. And we have like 5 hours to wait.
You still got
The
4 more hours.
illogical. Listen, if I had hair, the hair on the back of my neck would stand up, because I think about the illogical things that we did. Like, wait a minute, let's come in an hour before and then wait 5 hours until our pick comes. What were we doing? Why didn't we just? And you know what got me is the year we had COVID. The COVID year, I sat on the porch in California. I was out on my deck eating hot wings, watching the draft on TV, and I had my phone next to me. I'm like, hey man, I know if you have a question, you'll call. You'll probably just draft the guy either way. So what am I doing?
Well, dude,
So that's the kind of stuff I don't miss.
well, I don't know. It's like some teams, they got like a pretty good setup now. I think of your guys out in LA, right? They get this swanky house. They're all wearing their button ups. Wendy looks like like he looks
got a Hawaiian
fantastic. He's got his
shirt on.
Hawaiian
Yeah.
shirt on, doing his best Andy
Trimmed
Reid
his
impersonation.
beard. Yeah.
Yeah, like so. Do you see this shift going that way? Like some teams don't send dudes like coaches to the combine now. It just seems like there's a way to short circuit this thing. Am I wrong?
You are correct. It's just hard to change old ways, guys. This is how we did it day one of the draft. This is how, and they just won't change. I do believe in a lot of the things that McVay is doing at the Rams and his buddies are doing around the league. They get ahead in draft. They get ahead in the draft, and then they bring him to the coaches and they say, "Hey, listen, here's the guys coming up in the first couple rounds. Watch these guys. Who would you take if you had a first, second round pick? All right, now here's the guys in the middle. Hey, watch these guys. Now these are middle. These aren't going to be as good as the ones and twos. So just don't try to compare them. Like, this is where these guys fit. And then later on, you get the end of the draft kind of guys, and then the free agent. And you get there's a lot of places where you'll get, hey, here's 50 guys to look at, and it's alphabetical. And I haven't watched any college football. I don't know these guys. These guys have been studying them for an entire year.
Yeah.
And they give them to me and say, hey, listen, you got 3 weeks. Go ahead and watch 5 games on each one of these guys and decide, first off, who he is, and secondly, if he can play. I can't tell how long his arms are. I can't tell any of that. I got to look at all of I just want to, that's why I'm pieced out and went to the beach.
And dude, you're built for it, pal. I mean, you're glowing. That being said, so you have these 50 folks that you break down, a lot of dudes. And so maybe this doesn't happen as much anymore as it might have had in the past, right? But say you're given one of these guys, you're looking at them, and there's something on the film, there's something tangible. You're like, this, I don't know what it is totally. I can't really compute it. I might not be able to vocalize it. This speaks my language. I just know in my heart this player is going to be something. And you pitch it and it's not received like you want it to. Like, you guys aren't seeing what I'm seeing. it gets passed on. Is there a player in your mind that you had that idea of that turned out to be a good player either for you or for someone else that you're like, see, I told you so?
Um, the I think about the later round guys, when I think about that question. And the guy that comes up is David Edwards, who we drafted in the 5th round
Yes.
at frickin' at the Rams. And it was a case where he had a bad shoulder. He was hurt his senior year. He played. He didn't play very good, this whole thing. And Les Snead said, "Hey man, go back and look at his junior year." So I looked at his junior year. I go, why don't we draft this guy now? Can we
Mhm.
bring him in? Just get him here. I don't care what round we get him. Just bring him here. And it ended up working out.
Well, you sure did. I mean, it's talking about it. Dave, Connor, just the cheese factory. These boys have got some cheese. What does that do for your soul the day of? Because I'm sure guys are talking to you behind the scenes too, keeping you in the skinny. But when they're like, hey, coach, I put this pen to paper. This is this. And you know what that means. You know the work they put in. You were behind the scenes. What does that do for your soul, coach?
Yeah, I tell you, I was never more excited for free agency than this year. And I had nothing to do with it. I was out sitting at, like I said, I'm at the beach but I was so excited to find out what these guys were going to do and how they were going to, what kind of contracts they would get. Because it's just like a proud papa, just like, hey, I love these guys and look what they did. And just a combination of David and Connor and then Vandemark got a big deal for 1 year. I mean, come on, life is good. And Alec Anderson got re-signed with a good deal for him. And so I was elated, to be honest. I couldn't wait for free agency. I never talked about free agency. I never even thought about it. And they were, and you, even when like they were talking about getting me a guy, I'm like, yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. and and so I never really didn't want to think about it because I didn't want to get my hopes up like a kid on Christmas, and all of a sudden you don't get those gifts, and you're like, I'm not even going to think about free agency. This year I couldn't wait. I was 2 weeks. I go, when's free agency? I walked down to Connor's house is down by me at the beach. And I walked down to Connor's. I said, Connor, what? Yeah. I said, hey buddy, I'm in your pool. I was doing backstroke in his pool. I told him I would only wear American flag Speedo on Christmas on 4th of July, but I lied.
Oh,
So
Seems like a
celebrations.
good compromise.
yeah. So, but I go down. I'm trying to find out what the hell's going on. Come on, Connor. Tell me what's happening. Tell me what's happening. And so I don't know who was more excited, me or him. And then obviously Dave going through his. So it was
Oh,
great. It was exciting.
What a vote of confidence. Well, not even a confidence. What a vote of triumph for you too. Because of course the player is the man in the arena. But when good things happen to guys that surround you, that touch you, whether it's at home or abroad, that's got to be such a joyous experience.
It really is. And I was asked recently, a lot of people want to talk about the pinnacle of your career. What was the pinnacle of your career? And was it the Super Bowl? And it's not the Super Bowl. We won the Super Bowl with the Saints, and that's a team thing, and that was great. And I'm glad we did it together. But it's really about the guys, and it's really about if one guy would say, hey, Chrome, you really helped me, I'm like, poof, I'm done.
Yeah.
And I live for that.
No doubt.
And that is the pinnacle of my career.
Well, I would assume that you're in the same boat as me, that life's greatest currency are relationships.
Absolutely.
It's what makes life worth living. All the money, all the cheese, all the stuff, like relationships are tried and true. They're going to pass the test of time. And speaking of test of time, coach, 35 fucking years of doing this thing. I mean, that is substantial. And you were, I mean, in the college ranks till what, 2000, and then in 2001 went with the Raiders, and then from there on you've been in the pros. You've been from organization to organization, there and back again. You've been on some really good teams. And at different organizations, right? So you've seen what works where. If you had to give 2 or 3 non-negotiables, things that need to happen for a great team to come to fruition, what are those 2 or 3 things that you've seen in your career?
Yeah, the number one is going to be the quarterback, obviously. But you got to have a quarterback to have success, to have real success in the NFL. You just have to. But 2 and 3 2 and 3, you have to. It has to be a case of collaboration between the coaches and the players, and they have to be able to work together. The players and the players have to work together. The coaches and the players, and vice versa. There has to be great communication and um, great camaraderie between the two, because we both know we're trying to get something done. Players, coaches, whoever, everybody's trying to get the same thing done. And so number two is always going to be, can you communicate between the players and the coaches, and the vision that you have and the vision that the players have? Um, and that is a huge part. And then honestly, at the end, it comes down to what kind of logic do you have in running your team. um and I had a player tell me once, common sense ain't common, Chrome.
No.
and 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 I was like, it hit me right between the eyes, because it made a lot of sense.
God, that couldn't make
um
more sense.
yeah, and but if you have a common sense approach, that's gonna bode well for the number two, because you'll have a lot better collaboration with between the players and the coaches, and those need to be one, not separate. And
No doubt.
that's a big part. And that's what people don't understand. They think like the coaches got to tell the players what to do. It's like, that's not exactly how it should work. You know, the, we should try to work together, try to figure out what the best way to do this thing is.
Mitch and I actually talked about that earlier today, didn't we? About what it takes to be a good coach with professional athletes that are at the pinnacle of their career. And you could take the approach of like some college coaches do, like, I'm your coach, you listen to me, blah 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 blah. That seldom fucking works, and it definitely doesn't work in the NFL. Like, it's almost like coaching in the NFL, it's almost like being a dad, in a sense of like, you're here for a reason. I'm here to help you. We're here to be together and work on things together. And I know what your greatest strengths are and your weaknesses, and what your weaknesses are. I'm not pointing out as a derogatory thing. I'm here to help you, to support you, to make you better at those things, to make you a well-rounded athlete. And I think like the players coach that they say in the league, like a players coach, I think those types of coaches go way beyond and far than the I'm your coach, listen to me, this is what we're doing, da 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 shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Casey, what you find out is that coach that you're talking about doesn't know what he's talking about.
Well,
And
yeah.
so he has to say that, because if he gets a question, he's screwed, because he doesn't have an answer to your question. So he has to be that way to overcome the shortcomings. So I think you're exactly right.
It's like an inferior complex almost.
Well, common sense always isn't common, right? Fellas?
Yeah.
That's what we talked about. Well, so this is fascinating. Both y'all have fascinating points on this. And one thing, like you said, 2 and 3, it's amazing when I asked you for those three things. One was a player, and then the second and third was just lines of communication, right? And in football, what makes football so great is that it's a cultural melting pot, maybe the greatest cultural melting pot in sports. And you walk into an offensive line room, and it's the biggest room in the building with the greatest amount of diversity, whether it be from walks of life, demographics, all this stuff. And you have to walk in there and hit a frequency with guys from different guys. Some of these dudes have families, some of these dudes come from different stuff. But then also, like, there's also different demographics and walks of life among coaches. And we as players talk about intimacy amongst each other, but like, this bond between coaches has to be pretty substantial as well. Like, the amount of time you spend with each other is ridiculous. How is it, like, so say you go into a new organization, or you bring a new guy in, and you're with this group, does it get easier over time integrating yourself with those coaches? The type of coach changes? I know this is a very broad question. It's actually not really a question. I just find it fascinating that we don't talk about often, like the relationships between coaches, especially like an offense or defensive coach, right? Like, it's fascinating to me.
Yeah, I would tell you, Mitch, it's the same as you walking in the locker room and earning respect and earning collaboration with the players around you. You walk in, you try not to say as much as you want to say. Um, you listen, you decide what's right to say and what isn't. And you just be yourself. And if yourself is good enough, it'll work out. If it's not, it won't work out. And you have a lot of coaching changes because it doesn't work out. And but I do think that it does get easier over time. But at the same time, if you go in, good information, you can listen, you can use common sense on coming to an agreement on way to do things. Um, then you got a better chance of getting along with the guys around you. And you can't go in full steam ahead like some people have done. Like if you walked in the locker room and said, "Hey, I'm the leader now," um, it's not going to work.
Get your ass beat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not going to work.
Yeah.
And instead of getting your ass beat into coaches, they just they're not going to listen to you, and you're not going to get your point across. You won't be it won't be productive.
I think it's just checking your shit at the door, right? It's open-mindedness. And I've been, we had a lot of coaches when I was in Jacksonville, and I'll be honest, there were times that it was not functional. There was a lot of animosity between some coaches, defense, offense. But like if you go in just like a player, open-minded, we're in this together. I'm coachable. I want to learn, from you. You coached for 35 years. I've only been in it for 15. There's something I can learn from you. So shut your mouth, open your ears, and all work together. But, to your point, it's like walking in the locker room. Sometimes
Yeah.
it doesn't go that way.
But along those same lines, a veteran goes in, you get $100 million veteran coming into the locker room. He needs to listen as well. Like me coming in with 35 years, I need to listen to find out the ways they're doing it. They might have a better way than I had. And if
Right.
I can incorporate that, it might make me it actually has made me a better coach. I feel like I became a better coach when I moved from team to team every 4 years or so, because I saw a new perspective. I saw a new way to say something. I learned from new players. I was put in a different room with different kind of guys. So you grow exponentially as compared to being in one spot the whole time and people coming to you one at a time, and you staying with your other 11 guys, and you might have, or 8 guys, and you get one new player. Well, I had new players every 4 years or so, totally new players, new room. Sometimes a guy would look me up and say, "Hey, this guy knows what he's talking about." And half the time the guys were too lazy to do it because they were like, "Hey, the last coach coached me like this. I know this asshole's going to probably do the same thing." And, so, they just see some skinny old white dude walking in and they're like, what's this guy got? And then you got to prove it, and how do you prove it? You try to help a guy get one step better. And after he realizes he can step one step better than he did before, you're like, "Hey, as long as that worked, you want to try something else?" And they're like, "Yeah." And then you do that. But if you come in blazing, guns a blazing,
Yeah.
it doesn't
Tough.
work.
And I
I
think
mean,
too,
we learn and we learn and we learn, and then we die. Right? Like that's just part of life. And honestly, to the credit of some of the players, like they couldn't probably look you up because you've been doing this so long. The internet wasn't even around. They were going through like yellow pages and asking friends.
That is a heck of a point.
Everyone was
That's a heck
using,
of a point.
yeah. And then dial-up internet came a thing, and AOL. Holy shit, coach! Like you already
did
halfway through
Kromer have a
fucking career.
MySpace page?
Yeah, Chrome's got his AOL. I was doing AIM Messenger. It's fantastic. But speaking to like the one thing that you ask any player, and people ask me this, and I try to answer it about you, but it's almost like it's so hard to put into words. There's this mysticism around like Aaron Kromer coaches how you move, right? Like he doesn't coach how you move, but he goes around. Okay, let me start this over. The thing that's fascinating to me, coach, is two things are true. One is if you watch an Aaron Kromer coached offensive line, at the point of contact, every single dude is working together on the exact same page. But from snap to getting to that point of contact, 5 guys might be doing 5 different things to get to that point. Right? How do you marry those two things together so beautifully where it's like, my hips don't work the same as this guy. This is how I move. I'm at the center. My feet are right here. I can't do this step. But yet everyone is still somehow on the same page, doing the same thing while all moving very differently.
Spencer's little buttercuts.
Yeah, exactly. It's that is, in my opinion, the key to offensive line, key to football, is that knowing that I'm not going to coach the same as a Rob Boris or a McDermott or somebody, and we're going to be different. You're going to have to deal with that as a player. And then knowing that for me to know, or the coaches to know, that Mitch and Deion Dawkins are not going to move the same to get out of their stance, or or 6'9" Spencer Brown. Everybody's going to be a little bit different, but all on the same page, getting the same job done. And if you allow someone to do that as a coach, you end up, I think, with a better success rate in the end, because it can happen faster. If you try to change everybody into this one cyborg, that you can't, it's not the case. It just won't work. Some guys are freakily strong. Some guys are really quick. Some guys are slow and strong. Some guys are, everybody's different. So to get 5 guys to all move the same is crazy, that people try to get that done. And, so we learned that, I learned that, I don't know, 20, 15 years ago. I can't remember. I lost count of time.
The internet,
I don't even know what
the
day it
internet,
is.
I know.
Before the internet. Yeah. I'll look up on the internet where I was. No, they don't have that. But yeah.
No, please. Sorry.
But that is the key to life as a coach, I think, is finding out what your guys do well. The number one thing for an offensive lineman and a football player in general, find out what I can't do. I can't do this, so don't put me in that position.
Right.
And it's moving in a certain way. It's running certain plays that I know there's a guy on the line. He's not going to be good at it. We're not running that play. And I don't care. And everyone suggests, why aren't you running this? Because he can't do it. Why don't you? And I'm like, we're not doing it, because it's not going to, because he can't do it. And I'm not going to waste my time trying to get him.
Dude, no doubt. But what's interesting, Coach, and maybe you said this or someone said this to me about your coaching style, it made a lot of sense to me, and why it's received so well, and it's consistent. Like, this is how this guy moves. And when he figures this out, he doesn't deviate from it. So there's consistency in that, is that it's a collaboration at the beginning of this thing. Like these OTAs, this training camp. And it might be one of those things, like by week 2 in the seasons, when we really find this thing out, we collab together. Well, since I, the player, have stock in this and stake in this in a collaboration, I better hold myself accountable as well to be consistent in this, because shit, I'm half the brain power behind the way I was moving.
Correct. And if you remember, I'm sure you do, I always made sure everybody agreed. I learned this a long time ago. I made sure that everybody agreed, this is the way we're going to do it when the game starts. Do you agree? How do you think you should do it? And then when you agree as a player, then I know when we get out there, you're going to be attempting to do what you said. If I spend the whole meeting saying, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, you've never agreed that you're going to do it. You just listened. And that's where I think is a big part of just having that collaboration of, because you do have the right to say, Chrome, I can't move like that. Okay, let's figure out another way.
Well, you're going to move faster. You're going to be stronger. You're going to be more agile. You're going to be more grounded, which you love, but also just, I'm going to execute this thing when you have the confidence mentally before this game even goes about. Like, I have the confidence, I have the grace, I have the green light from my coach. I might be a grown-ass man in my 30s, but I still need the green light from my coach.
Yeah, we all need a green light. I need a green light from my wife.
I knew that was coming.
That's just a good marriage. Okay, one thing before we get to the fun segment here. Casey and I were talking about the importance of quarterback play. He was listening to, Casey's a diehard Pittsburgh Steelers fan. He's also in his 40s. He was around when the internet came about, but he was listening to his morning show on the AM, because Casey listens to AM radio, maybe a little FM stand.
It was FM.
But it was FM. Yeah. It was FM, but he was Aaron Rodgers' situation still every morning, and the importance of quarterback. And then he actually had a really interesting thought that hopefully you can answer, and I'll pivot to Casey here.
Well, on the way to work, I'll throw on FM radio and listen to DVE or whatever in the morning. Honestly, not so much to hear about sports talk and bullshit, a bunch of guys that really don't know what they're talking about, but more so I can get ideas to, talk about on the show and help Mitch out. If you don't have a quarterback and your quarterback situation's in limbo, how you, as an O-line coach, go about coaching the O-line in terms of like their sets, and how do you go about knowing if he's a heavy RPO or heavy, like if these guys have to do heavy pass pro, or how are you coaching the O-line with a in limbo quarterback situation? And point in case with the fucking Steelers and this whole freaking Aaron Rodgers drama, like if you were the Steelers O-line coach, like would you be pulling what hair you have left out of your head? Because it's like, dude, are you coming back? Or are you not coming back? Will Howard's not the answer. Mason Rudolph's not the answer. Are we drafting somebody? Who am I fucking protecting here?
Well, also, like, to Casey's point, coach, that's like, I mean, it's a super valid. Am I bringing in a dude who, I mean, heavy RPO, or a guy who takes a 7-step or an 8-step drop? Yeah, he's coached to do this, but
Is he a
this is how
pocket
he does it.
passer?
Is this a guy who's comfortable taking a hit, or goes on the, like, you don't, like, it's going to be heavy running, like he's going to stay, exactly to Casey's point, this dude's staying in the pocket, or he likes to escape this way or that way? Does that ever cross your mind?
Yes, it does. But it also just stems back to let's start with the basics. We're all we're gonna start with, hey, let's do our quick passing game protection, techniques. Let's do our deeper passes. Let's do our 7-step. Let's work on our run game. Let's do this and that. So this time of year and throughout the spring, it's really getting movement because there is no pads, there's no anything. And if you go against the defense, you want to shoot yourself anyways, because they don't have pads on, and that's when they're really good, because you can't get any hole on them, and they think they are the best. And you're just like, I'm just trying not to get hurt right now, because this isn't football as an offensive lineman. So I think that this time of year, does it matter? The only thing that really matters, the only problem you have with that situation is you really don't know where to go with your offense as a scheme. So you're not going to be able to teach much scheme, because what if your quarterback can only throw a short distance? What if he can only throw long balls? What if, so there's so much variation in what he can do. And then you have the quarterbacks that won't get under center. And when that's the case, now,
like Aaron Rodgers.
Exactly.
Jaden
So now all of a
Daniels.
sudden, you got problems with, like, your run game has to change because you're not right behind the quarterback. And so it's a lot easier if you have a direction to go. But if you don't, you got to stay as broad as possible, teaching all the techniques and all the thought processes that could happen. And then when you get somebody, really hone in on what you're good at. I'll be honest, every year, what I think happens is you find you really don't know who you are the first month. Like, you're trying to figure out who you are as a team. And you're saying to yourself, all right, we're going to be good at this year, these run schemes. And you get in the season and you're like, dang, we're not really,
None of it's working.
This guy's not good at this. Or, man, we're killing this scheme. We are killing people with it. But so we got to have more variation of that. But then we have to find something else to complement. And so I don't think you really find out who you are until at least the second quarter of the season, and sometimes even halfway through the season.
I mean, I just look at it, like, listening to it, and this has just been, unfortunately, it's affecting the fucking Steelers right now, right?
He's
and it's been, dude, I know, dude, I'm gonna get fired up. Thank God I got beers, but like, I'm like, dude, like, all right, and I'll put it this way: at 42 years old, Aaron Rodgers, he can still sling it. Dude still has an arm. He can still sling it. His mobility is shit, but I mean, he can still throw he can still throw the ball. He can still make plays happen. But like, this whole fucking thing of, I don't know if I'm gonna play. I don't know, like. And then he goes on media and all the shows, like, I don't know why the media is talking about me, like, because you're a dumbass and you have a fictitious wife and you do this shit for the last
leave his wife out of it, Casey. Leave his wife out of it. She's a nice lady.
We don't know if that's true, but you do.
Leave the wife out of the case.
But you do this shit for the last, 5 years? Like, just go take your ayahuasca or whatever and hide in your cave and just be gone, like. And I get mad because it's just like, I want the Steelers to move forward. What are we going to draft? Are we going to draft somebody? Who knows? Because we don't know if Aaron Rodgers is coming back. Will Howard hasn't gotten a shot. I don't know if Will Howard's any good, but Mason Rudolph's definitely not the fucking answer. Great backup, but I don't know. Now I'm fired up.
Now let your personality show. Okay, so now it's great. Kate, you know what that means? You know what that means? it matters to you, Casey. And that's all that matters.
Well,
Coach,
I say all that to say this. I do love Buffalo. You know that. Because of being with Mitch, Buffalo is my 1B team, 100%. And I rooted for Buffalo all last year and the year before, as long as they weren't playing the Steelers. But I fucking love Buffalo.
And let's talk about that Steelers
what happened,
game.
what happened in the Steelers game?
Can we
dude?
talk about that?
We can talk about it.
Maybe we'll get Alec Anderson and Vandemark.
Yeah.
Well, Ryan Vandemark on this and talk about how they pounded the defensive line for the Pittsburgh Steelers for 260 yards at record in the stadium. The two backup tackles on top of that.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go. Let it bring it out. It's okay.
Shouldn't have done it, Case.
I know.
What a
but it's great.
fascinating-
We actually just had Christian Kirk on the show last week. And Christian, who is a great friend of Mitch and I love the dude and I love the fact that he succeeded, but he absolutely obliterated the Steelers single-handedly this year in the playoffs. And I couldn't be more happy for him for that. But
yeah, it's because you got a good heart, Case.
What?
You got a kind eyes, good heart.
I don't have a fucking shit. It's filled with beer.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, I lied. There's actually one more thing I want to talk about, because in the same thing, when you talk about teams finding themselves, it's not as easy as like we went through training camp. We know ourselves now. Hooray! Our OTAs, like you're figuring out, and then you hopefully clicks around Thanksgiving, November or December, right? But it's fascinating to me. Like turnover is inevitable in this business, but sometimes there's not much turnover between offensive lines, right? You're older, but you've also gotten a year wiser. And for the most part, these guys aren't debilitated unless it's my elbow from one year to another, right? Like that just usually doesn't happen. But what's interesting is like that was say you have the 2024 Buffalo Bills and the 2025. Say 1 year you were just slaughtering weak side outside zone. And then the next year you have the same guys, the exact same dudes. For some reason, it's just not as productive. You don't have no rhyme or reason, but you turn into a pin and pole team or a duo team. Like how the heck does that happen?
That happens because when you are good, then teams are doing everything they can in the off season to try to find a way to slow those plays down. So then you got to take yourself to the next, because they're going to say, we got to win the division. The only way we can win the division is if we can stop the Bills' weak side zone play. And they're going to spend time to manipulate the play. And you got to work through that as a staff, but you also have to have an alternative or two that you can go to and beat those teams. But when you're good, everybody studies you in the off season and tries to do something, have a better plan for you the next year.
Casey, right when I concluded that question, he said that the first thing that came to my mind, and finish this for me, common sense isn't
common.
Yeah, no, that was, of course, that's the answer to that fucking question. Excellent.
You can't teach stupid, buddy.
No, you can't teach stupid. That's a gift. Hey, so do you mind if we do a segment by Labatt?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. That's green light. This is called Mitch's Mailbox. Now, Coach, we had the great privilege of putting in all these forums. I know the internet's new to you. You've been on this earth and doing this thing for so long. You've been coaching, right? It's not just on the film with the cowboy. Put on these different forums that, hey, we get to talk to Aaron Kromer today. Do you want to send in your video questions? Dude, flooded with strangers and we kind of sifted through a few of them, and we're wondering if you would be so kind as to answer a few of these. Is that cool?
Are these really questions from your kids?
I mean, I found a couple bums in Pittsburgh. They had some questions.
yeah.
No, we got some folks. I think you might enjoy a few of these questions. The first person, let me get this person's. They didn't have names in this form, but I do have where they're from.
He was only
first
wearing
person
one shoe.
is out of Los Angeles, weirdly. So let's do this. Los Angeles, please. Odd, strange.
Hey guys, Ryan Wendell here. My question for Aaron Kromer is, what kind of advice can you give an offensive line coach who has an assistant offensive line coach that is so talented that you're afraid he might overshadow you? So I'm kind of dealing with that right now. I have an assistant named Zach Kromer who does a great job, kills it for me, and just want to make sure that he doesn't take my job. So I know Aaron Kromer has also dealt with this in the past with some of his assistants, one particular that he had in Buffalo. But if he has any kind of advice for how would you manage a guy that's working underneath you that you can just see as a rising star and is going to be hard to hold back? Any advice would be helpful. Thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it. Bye.
You help him find a job and get him out of the building as fast as possible. That's what I did.
Dude, I'll tell you what. First of all, the
was a-
forwards flat bill hat, he's looking good. He's looking
Wendy.
really good.
Yeah.
And the beard's all trimmed up. I'm like,
No.
snackish. Uh-oh,
Yeah,
almost
no,
through.
no doubt.
We're good.
Ryan Wendell,
Yeah.
absolute goat.
Brian Wendell, a stud.
Absolute stud. All right, next question is out of Ohio. Next question
Okay.
out of Ohio.
Where Kromer's from? I
Kromer.
took a quick trip up there. Okay, from Pittsburgh. It's not too far. This guy was hanging around a bar. He's like, "I got a message for Kromer."
That's a true story.
Yeah,
Youngstown.
this guy's wild.
Chrome, it's Tommy Doyle here. I got a fan question calling in. I'd like to know what your favorite place to eat at in Oxford, Ohio is, and why Miami University is the greatest college in America.
Oh, Tommy Doyle. Bagel and Deli. Bagel and Deli's the best place to eat. And Oxford is the smallest big college. It's awesome. It's a great town. There's nowhere you can go. You go to campus, you're stuck there, you're out in the middle of nowhere. There's 15,000 students with nothing else to do but have a good time. And that's why that place is great.
Tommy Doyle also looking tight. Looking tight. Miami of Ohio just seems like a hoot. Everything I see, this place looks like a burned down, dragged out party. Crazy
No
town.
question. And did you see during the their basketball success
Yes.
when they would show the bar uptown called Brick Street? And that was a movie theater when they still had movie theaters. And they changed it into a bar. And this thing is huge. And every time they would show it, they were wild. And that's Oxford. There's nowhere else to go. Brick Street.
It makes a lot of sense after knowing Tommy Doyle. That's the place that housed Tommy for 4 years. Is kind of a scary thought. Okay, next question is out of actually New Orleans, Louisiana. Well, maybe actually Florida. Not totally sure. We'll see.
Hi, I've got a question for Coach Kromer. Big fan, Chromes. Been a fan for a long time. I know a lot of your former players speak very highly about you. I was wondering, my question was, have you ever had a player that you didn't have the greatest relationship with? And I was also just curious if anyone had ever launched any type of office supplies at you before. Just curious. Hope everything's going well, Chromes. Thanks for being on the cast.
There's got to be a story there.
Dude, the cast. You're on the cast. Go.
I'm pleading the fifth.
That's very well done. Very well done. Hey, talk about an all-time great. About an all-time great. I mean, a dude who just did it and did it well for a very long time. Is he in
Zach
the
Strief,
Ring of Honor?
This guy, Zach Strief, he went around. I was coaching at Northwestern, and he went to all the Big Ten schools, as many as he could get to, went to all the camps, was trying to get an offer before his senior year. He went to everyone, couldn't get an offer. And it was my first year at Northwestern. And he comes in, I'm like, how do we not offer this big dude? He's strong as heck. He can move his feet well enough. I said, we got to offer this guy. So we offer him a scholarship. He commits to Northwestern. And then I leave to go to the Oakland Raiders prior to him even getting on campus. So he was mad at me. But then
full circle,
I got back with him at the Saints. He was a 7th round pick of the Saints, who we made the jumbo tight end. And when we say jumbo, I'm talking jumbo. This guy is huge. He's got to be the biggest guy I've ever coached. There's no question. So we're playing the Minnesota Vikings, and we realized that if we take our tight end and we motion him across from the weak side to the strong side, that they would change defense, and they would go to a backer force defense, which they couldn't play. They had this little dude playing outside backer that had to come up to the line. Well, guess who our tight end was? I said, hey, Zach, how about we teach you to come off the ball and then run and then go block a guy. Now, this guy's 360 pounds and he's 6'8". And and it's on live TV, and people are going crazy. Because at that time you didn't see a whole lot of it, and definitely never saw a guy that big. And we smashed them with this play. So And then he ends up starting he played 12 years, I think,
Oh.
in the NFL, the 7th round pick. And those are the guys that you just cheer for.
Vote of confidence, coach. Well, you had him do the hot guy skip, like the shuffle, hot
Oh,
guy
yeah,
skip.
he did
and
the hot bite.
the hot guy tight end skip.
Yeah, once you get
so, it's
that's tough.
it's so tasty. I'm sure, dude.
Was,
New Orleans was on fire watching him do that, dude.
On fire.
Oh, that's fantastic. Zach Streif, what a legend. Appreciate you sending a question in. Next question is out of Indiana. Indiana. Use your context.
Any ideas?
Oh, Santa Claus.
Santa Claus. Okay.
Coach Kromer, I'm a huge fan. Been following you your entire career. Happy retirement. Love you. One question for you. Have you ever taken a former player around, 30A on a bike ride? Rosemary Beach? If you have, tell us a story.
Hey, I keep getting blamed for this, but here's it was clear and honest communication. We're riding a bike. I'm showing some guy, big guard from Chicagoland, David Edwards, around town. And it was, town's not that big. Rosemary, we see Alice, we go see a golf course. And so we're 6 miles in. And we're on beach cruisers, by the way. No speeds, just beach cruisers. You get your hands up high.
Yeah, you're taking off.
Yeah, you got the big seat.
One
you're
gear.
loving it.
Yeah.
One gear. And I said, listen, we could take a left and we can go back home. Or if we take a right, it's a commitment. And he looked at me. He said, I'm ready for the commitment. I said, are you sure? And he says, yeah. Because there's a beach called Grayton Beach, famously known for the Red Bar. All right. An old hippie bar that's been there for hundreds of years. It's the only beach that was their OG beach. These are all newer, and this is the OG. He's like, he wants to go. We end up the day going, so it's 12 miles there, 12 miles back, plus we had already went about 4 miles on beach cruisers. So we get back.
Love that.
And so we're trying to be, now this is summer, so it's 89 degrees and 100% humidity. I mean, this guy is full sweat, and I'm just buzzing. I weigh half his weight. I mean, he is chafing. All right, this seat is this big, and it's begging for mercy.
Yeah.
and he's just back there like nothing's wrong. You want to turn back? He goes, nope. And we just kept going. So we get the bright idea on the way back. The girls are taking the kids to eat breakfast or brunch, whatever you want to call it. It's 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning. So we're like, hey, let's stop and just hang out with them. Major mistake.
Quads get tight.
He's tightening. And it's an indoor-outdoor place where we're sitting outdoor in the sun, and Dave just melts. I mean, he's just red he had a red shirt on. His face is red. He's sucking water down from this pitcher that they had, and he just kept sucking. And I was like, it was a bad decision.
Whole day, dude.
But now he's got so now we have player after player come through here, and they'll all warn him, don't go on a bike ride with Kromer. Don't let him show you around.
Don't do it, dude. The quads will be cooked.
We had plenty of refreshments on the ride. I don't know what happened.
Sure. No, I mean, libations were. I mean, the joints probably felt great. The quads, the muscles,
the
were
heat
barking. Hey, can we also talk about two things? One, Dave being a father of 4. We heard it in the background of said video. And 2, subtle flex, the wine cooler.
Ooh, the wine cooler. That was a huge flex.
That's fantastic. How much wine is Dave going to buy with $61 million, 45 guaranteed?
I don't know, but I hope I get to visit.
Yeah, no, he's going to do the one. Hopefully it's one where you come over. It's the bottle that you got to go like, the dust over it.
Yeah.
They got to do like the heated thing where they like take it. They don't even uncork it. They just take the whole half of the top off with the heat.
Oh yeah, we got to do that.
Dave, no pressure, kid. But
I definitely love how humble he is, because we had him on the show too, and he had that wine rack just banging in the background. We were like, hey man, you just got the bag. Like, what is the big purchase for you? It's like, I'd just like to buy some more wine. And We were both just like, all right, awesome answer. Love how humble you are, and that's all you want. Love it. And I would like to take some of that Camus off you.
David Edwards, a sophisticated man with a sophisticated palate. Next question comes all the way, Chrome, from Iowa.
Ooh, Iowa.
Iowa.
That's a good one.
Iowa. Yeah.
Pretty sure this guy's the
Coach
governor.
Kromer, longtime fan here. Just had a quick question for you. Now that you're retired, I was just wondering what you're going to do now to make sure people don't suck their whole life. So, with football, it was pretty easy. That was pretty cut and dry. You're just going to, coach them up, give them some techniques, some tools in the toolbox to get better and be better players and not suck. But, I'm just curious how that's going to work now that you're retired and you're going to be living on a beach. So anyway, Coach Kromer, all jokes aside, happy retirement, man. Congratulations. By far one of the most influential coaches I ever had in my career. I can confidently say that I wouldn't have even sniffed a 7-year career if I didn't end up crossing paths and being coached by you. So super grateful to have met you, to have been coached by you, and even more grateful to be your friends still to this day. So again, happy retirement. Can't wait to see you down in Rosemary.
What a guy.
Austin Blythe. What a guy. That guy's a stud. The smallest player I've ever had success coaching with. This guy was an absolute leverage beast. He was the smallest. He was listed at 300. I don't think he ever weighed 285.
Seriously.
I mean, he was trying to get bigger at all time, but he couldn't have been 285, 290. But he was a wrestling champ. Iowa guy, you can picture it.
Yeah.
And he was the illustration of technique. I mean, everything he did, his hips were under, he'd get his hands under. There was a day, it was like my daughter trying to block Mitch. And he's playing against Fletcher Cox. And he's looking up and he's in his stance. And he all of a sudden, the ball snapped and he puts his hands up in his chest and it was over. He locked down Fletcher Cox time after time in this game.
Shit.
And this guy was an animal. And he was huge. But he could get under a guy, get his hands on him, get under him, get his hips under him, and use his leverage from wrestling.
Yeah.
And just know how to manipulate guys. That 60-40, push them past where they want to go.
Yeah.
He was a master. He was a master. This guy was so small and so good. And the Colts cut him after the first year. He was, I think, I don't know, a 6th or 7th round pick. Mm-hmm. And we were lucky enough to get him. And we started running the zone plays and the gap plays behind him. He was fantastic.
That's
awesome.
He was fun to watch because he made it look easy. Like he was just so, because fluids thrown around there and you're like, what the fuck does that mean? When you watch a dude like Austin Blythe play, he was fluid. And listen, everyone's got a different path and when to retire. I was really bummed out for the game, not for him. It's fantastic, but like, it's amazing when you feel like you do still got meat in the bone. Like the guy was playing fantastic. A real treat to watch him play. And from what I understand, he's the king of Iowa. Like he owns. He is Iowa.
He is Iowa.
He is Iowa.
What I understand is he's coaching in high school at his old high school, and I believe his father-in-law is the head coach.
Nice.
I'd have to think about that. But he is fantastic. This guy, fantastic guy, and a great family. And didn't have to play. Had money on the side, he had a lot of success in his family, and didn't have to play and played anyways.
Yeah, dude, those dudes are fascinating to me because usually those dudes, if they do it and decide to do it, they do it well. And I wouldn't. No shot.
Okay. You can still move your elbows.
Yeah, no, my elbows would be creamy, dude. Oh, it'd be so delicious, these fucking elbows. Last question for you, Coach, before we let you go, is out of Los Angeles yet again.
Ooh, here we go.
Hey, Coach Chrome, big fan here. Live out in California, and really excited to be talking to you here on the podcast. I just want to know, in your final year of coaching, what was your best skill? Was it A, yelling at refs and calling them names, or B, calming down Dave Edwards after games? Hey, cheers for retirement. Love you.
Dude,
What
what
a
a goat.
stud.
What a
Zach
stud.
Kromer.
What a stud, dude.
Zach Kromer's in the house. Yeah, he's out of his mind. I always go to referees and I ask them how their day's going, wondering what they thought they saw on that last play, and that I was indifferent with their call.
Mm-hmm.
Just like that.
And it's exactly what I do. And
It's true, though.
sometimes,
It's
yeah,
true.
sometimes I have a lot of blood in my face and it turns red. But yeah, but that's when Mitch comes and grabs me. Mitch comes and grabs me around the neck.
I'm like,
Says,
go to sleep, 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 go to sleep. No,
That's
no,
the best.
Chrome would do that to me. Go to sleep, go to sleep. What was that called? Don't do that. I'm sorry.
We're good.
Dude, Zach, I mean, the bald head, it's kind of
Ooh, looking good.
look.
He wanted to look like Mitch, he said.
Don't do that, dude. No. Yeah, because then it's like,
He's trying to get the beard. He
doesn't need the beard. He's got the chin, dude. He's got the chin. You don't need it.
You're right.
The chin,
Yeah.
the no chin, such a phallic-y play. That sucks, dude. It blows. Also, he was drinking a Shiner Bock, which I thought was a pretty substantial play, pandering to the kid from Texas. Okay, so like the fun thing was we just kept getting videos sent to us. So I'll have to send you a few after that we couldn't put on here. But it's a testament to the man. We all know the coach. 35 years doing it at the highest level. Has the golden touch on the offensive line and running backs and tight ends, strangely, for a while, which is kind of a fun thing. And I know it doesn't make you comfortable, but we talked about life's greatest currency is relationships. And I don't think I've been around a person who does it as beautifully or just, I mean, as effortlessly as you do. And what that does for players and the folks you get to impact on the day in, day out basis, even if it's on a 30-mile bike ride, is fantastic. You are the man. Happy retirement. Please stick around after this because we want to chat for you for a little bit more. God bless you. Aaron Kromer, still doing the thing. You know what? I'm not putting it out there, but is there, okay, before we let you go, I do want to put you through one exercise, okay? Okay. I shouldn't have said all those nice things at first and then asked you to do this. I was going to do this earlier. All right. The novelty of retirement has not concluded. You're in the thralls of it, Coach, right? Like, it's fantastic. But needless to say, one day you might wake up in just a tizzy with the itch. So now I'm going to have the proverbial pen and paper for you to write. And on the envelope, it's going to say, open upon itch. And now you're going to open it, and it's the current you, the sane you, the lucid you is going to write a letter to yourself. What do you want that letter to say for the person, the Kromer in the future, who's going to wake up a little bit crazy with the itch?
Call Mitch Morse.
Mitch's elbows. Yeah, don't call Mitch. Just call him his elbows, and that'll be fantastic. That's the correct answer. God bless you, Coach. We love you to death. We can't wait to see what's in store for you, my friend.
Appreciate you guys. That was amazing. What an amazing show, and I appreciate you letting me on. I believe I'm the first non-player, and what an honor that is.
We're gonna have to send you off some way somehow. I'll cross to the Gulf side, and we'll burn it down. God bless you, Crum. Take it easy, brother.
Love you guys. Appreciate you.
Love you too, buddy. See ya.
And there's nothing I can do about it now.